Okay, welcome everyone. I know most of you in the room, but not everybody. So I'm Jean Camo, Executive Director of LOWLINC, and we're really happy to have all of you here today. I am super excited about this presentation today. I learned both from my parents, who did some things right, and then also waited too long on some other things, and so it was a challenge to, get things remodeled in the moment. So I'm happy that all of you are here to learn what we can do, now or ahead of time for planning. So again, welcome. Thank you to the Health and Wellness Committee and Margaret, who's the chair, for hosting this speaker series meeting. And we have lots of other good ones coming up, which I guess Margaret might mention in a minute. I did want to make sure that everybody knew about the walk coming up on September 21st, which is a Saturday, and it'll be right here. We're really excited about it because it's a chance for us to bring the community together. It's a chance for us to let others know about LOWLINC, and also to share, what an adult village, or older adult village like LOWLINC can do for our neighbors, helping neighbors. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have live music, we'll have face painting, we'll have lots of resource tables, and the walk is either, if you're gung-ho, you can go around this path 2 or 3 times, go for it. If you want to walk around once slowly, that's fine. If you want to walk 20 feet and come back, if you want to sit the whole time, that is fine, whatever. We're just going to have fun together, and hopefully we'll get that same good weather that we've had the last few years. So it's really easy. You go to our website, you can click on the button to get registered for the walk. And are there any other announcements that we should make? Well, we have the flu clinic coming up, or vaccine clinic, I should say. So flu and COVID shots, drive through, so you don't have to get out of your car. And that'll be in the lower level of the parking lot at the clubhouse on October 5th, which is a Saturday. And so, let's see, I guess.
What else we have? We have the garage and under the garage.
Oh, yes.
Under the sink.
Oh, yeah. So one of the things, and hopefully this will help you with keeping your home safe, is we're trying to support you decluttering, downsizing, organizing, whatever it is that you want to call it for your home. And so we've had a lot of clean out projects this year. Some of you participated in the one where we cleaned out our linen closet and we took all the blankets and sheets and things over to the animal shelter and the wildlife rescue folks. So the one that we have coming up next is our garage and under the sink clean out project. And remind me the date?
September 13th.
No.
September 13th. So
September 13th is medical supplies.
Oh, medical supplies.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Medical supplies is first.
Medical
Medical supply is first. That's September 13th. And so for medical supplies, if you have wound care like bandages or anything else that is clean and unexpired, no medications, please let us know. You can either, if you're a LOWLINC member, you can have somebody come by your house and pick them up, or you can come to the parking lot and drop them off yourself on September 13th between 11 and 12:30. And then next we'll do the garage and under the sink clean out, which is sometimes referred to as hazmat, but that doesn't sound so good. So,
We're really not collecting.
Yeah, we're not collecting radioactive material.
We're not going to take your atomic waste.
No atomic waste. So basically, if you have paint or cleaners that you're not using or whatever, that's what we'll collect, and that will be in October
11th.
October 11th. Okay, great. So we have a lot going on, obviously, so keep checking the calendar. And again, we really are so glad that you're here today. And I am going to now turn it over to Margaret, like I said, Health and Wellness Committee Chair, and she will introduce our presenters. So.
I will. My pleasure. No trip, yeah. It was one of my best trips. It's so good to see everybody. Did you all have fun with the water event? Did you have a really good time? Are you glad that, are you still saying thank you to your faucets? I hope so. It was quite the event. I was really, really, really proud of LOWLINC stepping up and being able to help you guys. We were really pleased to do it. So,
I'm still drinking bottled water.
Huh?
I'm still drinking
Well,
bottled
good. Then I
water.
know you got it. Then that's good. So hopefully we will not have another event for a long, long time. That would be lovely. So, and for Seth and Mike, we lost our water for 4 days,
It was actually, yeah.
5.
It was going on the 7th day.
Yeah.
So the first day, that afternoon, she's not here right now, but Jasmine ran out and grabbed some water. And we called all of our members and reached most of them. And then we coordinated delivery of the water, which, you know, helped everybody at least have something to drink and be able to brush your teeth that night. And then we continued for 6 days, going on 7, to get that water out. So yeah, it was a great effort, and our volunteers really jumped in, and so we were happy that we were able to do that.
Really makes you appreciate the resources you don't pay much attention to, do you? So, yeah. Well, good. Okay, well, I am so tickled about this event. We're getting 2 for 1 today. We have two speakers. Our first speaker is going to be Mike Distilio from AARP. Okay, he has been an AARP volunteer since 2015 or 17. Okay, and he is one of their designated speakers. Okay, he speaks on a number of topics. I know you talk about brain health.
I do brain health, decluttering, HomeFit, and I do Civil War. But that's not what they are.
Yeah. So he is very knowledgeable, and what he's going to speak to us about today is things that you can do to do some modifications to your home, okay, so that you can continue to live there, which is really what we all want to do. He has brought some really good material, and it's on the back table, and I'm sure that he will introduce his material to you and discuss it with you. Okay, and then when he is done speaking, we also have Seth Whitten, you're right in front of me, okay, who is from Disability Resources. And that organization does exactly what their name says. They provide resources, a number of resources, which he will discuss, and one of those is resources that would enable you then to do the modifications that Mike is going to talk to you about, okay? And Seth graduated from Shenandoah?
No. Yet.
Okay, you were born in Shenandoah?
Yeah.
And then you graduated in 2003?
That's correct.
And he has been a champion for people with disabilities since that time. So we're very pleased to have you too. So I'm going to turn it over to Mike. And then when Mike is done, what I would suggest we do is then let Seth speak, and we'll do all of our questions at the end. So if you could just hold on to your questions, that way I can be sure that they both get an opportunity to share their information with you. Okay?
Thank you.
Oh, you have it.
It's always a pleasure to speak here at Lake of the Woods. I looked at your map. I didn't realize how many houses you had here. That's impressive. Margaret, thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome.
If you're here, if you think HomeFit is about exercises you can do at home, you're in the wrong place. Okay, what we're going to talk about today is how do you get your house to fit your needs as you get older? Okay, how are you able to adapt that living space so that you can live longer in the house? All right. Now I'm going to use a lot of stories from personal experience. I was a caregiver for my mom, caregiver for my dad, and my wife also. So we had a lot of modifications to do to accommodate them so they could live in the house as long as possible. All right. I wish I had this information 30 years ago when I built my house in Fredericksburg. I would not have built a colonial. Okay, I would not have had all the bedrooms up on the second floor, and then the living space on the main floor, and then a basement downstairs. We were doing fine until my wife broke her femur. Okay, now she was laid up for 6 months. I couldn't get her into the house. Okay, I couldn't get her into the bathroom. I couldn't get her into the tub because the tub was too high. All kinds of problems with that. All of us are getting older, and there's probably a good chance that sooner or later we are going to either be laid up for a while. Is your home adaptable that you can live in it? You know, can you get into the bathroom? If you've ever used a walker won't fit in the bathroom, okay, unless you turn the wheels in, okay? So I'll talk a couple of hints about this. Okay, this is what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about how your home can be designed. If you take a look at your house, how it can be designed to support your needs and your lifestyle, okay? You want to continue your lifestyle the way you're doing it now, correct? You would like to continue that as you got older. What's important to you in your living space? What is important? What's critical for you? And I'm talking hobby areas here. And what type of improvements do you need? Okay. Because if you ask a contractor, he'll tell you all kinds of improvements you need. As long as you got the money to pay for him, he'll give you all kinds of good information. All right, what's this? What is this?
Ruby slipper.
The ruby slippers, right? This is Dorothy's ruby slippers. Okay? What was the word to get her back to Kansas?
There's no place like home.
There's no place like home, okay? No place like home. Why would you want to stay in your house? Because it's home. All right. You know every nook and corner of that. You probably dusted it 1,000,000 times. You know everything about that house. What else?
It's where all your friends are. It's where your neighbors are.
Your neighbors are. Your support system is there. What else? Maybe it's paid for. Boy, wouldn't that be great? Okay? So you want to stay in your house. But you can't stay in your house if your house is going to be hostile to you. If you can't live in the house, how can you stay there? You're not alone. The survey was out there, 90% of older Americans want to stay in their home. You know, on my dad's house as he got older, I was living in Virginia, he was up in Connecticut. We went to visit him a couple times. The house is in disrepair. You know, there was tiles coming up from the floor, the roof leaked. I couldn't do that from Virginia, but he wouldn't leave. He wouldn't leave. Him and my mom built that house, and they raised their kids in that house. They were going to stay in that house. And we kept them in the house as long as we could, until it was almost impossible. We couldn't, it became dangerous for them. Why do you want to stay in your house? Check this out. Now this is pre-COVID. This is pre-COVID numbers. Okay. If you want someone in your home to help you out with basic hygiene, not living in your house, but just helping you out, it's going to average about $21 an hour. If you have adult daycare, that's where the person goes to a facility and they watch that person for 8 hours, that's going to be $80 a day. Okay? Assisted living facility, $32.50 a month. Okay? That's more than many mortgages. A semi-private room, $249 a day, $90,000 a year. And if you have a private room nursing home, it's going to cost you over $100,000 a year. Now, with those kind of numbers, you could easily exhaust your retirement. It wouldn't take much at all to really deplete your retirement savings. So, isn't it better you stay in your house? Now, it may cost you something to stay in your house, and I'll talk about that. Okay. Before you do any kind of modifications to your house, if you have a disability, you may want to check with your Virginia Department of Housing and Community Development. Okay? They offer a $5,000 tax credit for modifications to a home, if you are eligible. Okay? That's the website. And I have that, I have some information in the back there. You're welcome to that. Okay? By the way, everything I'm talking about is in the handbook called HomeFit. You're welcome to have that. I also have cards there With my business card, you'll see my address has changed because we just moved. And, you're welcome to that. We do presentations free of charge. Okay? So, that's just my advertisement. Okay. And if you want this afterwards, I can redo that. Okay, if you're going to do any kind of modifications to your house, or if you're thinking about it, you need to put together a worksheet, okay? You need to look at your house and things, what works as they are. If something happened to me, with my house, are there things in the house that I don't have to change? Okay? What can be changed with minor cost, and where possible, I'll try and talk to you about cost, and what has to be changed with major cost. And keep that for personal use, for your personal use. All right, you're going to hear terms. Contractors are going to come up, or you're going to hear terms like this. Universal design. What does that mean, do you know? Universal design.
Good for everybody.
Everybody. Okay, that means that facility, that house, anyone can come in the house, whether they have physical, cognitive, or sensory disabilities. They are able to come into the house and they are able to function. That's universal design. Now, what's this? Visitability. That's not visibility, that's visitability. What does that mean?
People with disabilities coming to see you?
Yes, right. This means that your house can accommodate a visitor with a handicap. Okay, that means that you have to have at least one no-step entrance where you can come in without having to lift the wheelchair. Okay? You have to have at least a half bath in the main floor, in the main area. Like that would be a sink and a toilet. Okay? And you have to have doors that are able to get the person through. Okay? So if you have that, you have a visitability house. Now, the last one is livability. Livability, if you're going to have construction done on your house, modifications to your house, make sure, number one, it's economical. Okay? It's easy to use. It's environmental friendly. Okay? Make sure you have that. Okay? And in that way, you can live in the house. If you have that, and then you have these, you're good to go. Now, let's talk about no-step entrance. Any entrance that gets into your house can be no-step. If you have steps going up to the front of the house, you may be able to enter through the garage. Okay, what you're looking for is no step. You don't want a step. Okay, no step entrance. That's easier said than done. Because my house had 3 steps going to the front door, 2 steps in the garage, and 7 steps going up to the back door. There's no way I could get my wife in the house, other than physically lifting her out of the transfer chair, plant her in the house, and then move everything in. It's very difficult when she's hopping on one leg. Okay. As you get older, these are some real simple modifications you can do to your house. First off, invest in a grab bar. Every door, every entrance that you have, put a grab bar there. As we get older, that grab bar steadies you as you go into the house. Okay? Put a grab bar there. They're not that expensive, you can pick them up at Lowe's. Look at this here. What's that? That's a number. You want a number on your house. Why?
Emergency services.
Emergency services. I don't know if Lake of the Woods has it, but a lot of times they paint the number on the curb and then put a white patch with a black number on it.
We don't have curbs.
Oh, you don't have curbs. Okay. There you go.
But we have little wooden
Signs.
Sign.
that
Okay.
has the number on.
But you want the emergency folks to know where you're at. Okay? The other thing is, see this?
Peephole.
Peephole. Why is that important?
See who's at the door.
folks, look, you're a target, okay? As you get older, you're a target. People will come and try and, take advantage of you. This is pretty simple. You drill a hole in the door, you go to Lowe's, you buy the piece, and you can see there. Now, put it where you can see the person. Don't put it way up here, okay? The other things I recommend is put a chair on your front porch or a bench. That way, when you come in with groceries, you can put the groceries down and open the door. Especially if you're with a walker, okay? So have a chair there or a table, okay, so you can put the things down. Okay, we're going to talk no step. Again, I'm going to go into some examples. I'm going to talk ramps and I'm going to talk mechanical lifts. Okay, look at this house. Is this a problem for someone who is with a walker? This house.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Look what you have. You have a step here, right? You have a step here, and then you have another step to go into the house. Okay? Each time, you're going to have to lift the walker up, correct? To get in. If it's a wheelchair, you have to tip the wheelchair back and then move the person in. Okay? Look at this. Is that a problem? You got a crack in your pavement. If you've ever used a walker and you hit a crack, what happens? It propels you forward. Okay? So you could easily fall on this. This is unsafe, this house right here. Now, what's it going to take to fix it? Do I need to make a ramp? Okay? A ramp may not be aesthetically pleasing in this area. So what can I do for this? Here's some innovative techniques. Look at this.
Oh, wow.
What they did, very simply, they just covered the driveway. Covered the driveway, put a little flagstone walkway, put bushes all around, and they brought the step right up there. They brought the ground right up there. So now you've got a minimum step to get into the house. Where before you had 3 or 4, now you have less than 6 inches.
But you have all those cracks in the flagstone.
Pardon?
You have all those cracks in the flagstone.
Yeah, but this is, you see that? Yeah, you're right.
Smooth, yeah.
I would make it smooth. I would make it just pure concrete. All right, let's talk ramps. You can't just take 2x6s and put some plywood on top of it. It's not going to work because the slope may be too steep and you're going to roll that chair or the wheelchair or the transfer chair. Okay? I worked with the Diocese of Arlington at work camp, and we made ramps for handicapped folks. And it's very particular how you do a ramp. According to the American for Disabilities Act, your ramp has to have a certain slope. For every inch of rise, okay, a rise is from the ground to the top of the step. That's the rise, okay? This part is the run. For every inch of rise, you have to have a foot of ramp, okay? So if I have a 12-inch step, how big is my ramp?
12 feet.
12 feet. That's a big ramp, okay? You may have to put the ramp in the garage, okay? Now, if you got more than that, your ramp may be in the street. Okay, so the ratio is for every inch, you need a foot of ramp. Remember that. That's the safe slope for a wheelchair. Now look at these ramps. All right, now you can rent a ramp. Look at this ramp. Really nice, huh? It's got steps too. Look at the door. Look at the door. You bought a ramp, you installed the ramp, but look how the door swings. And it swings out so that the person that uses the ramp can't get in the door. All it would have taken was to reverse it. Okay? Okay, so if if you do something like that, think it through, okay? This is an aluminum ramp. It has guardrails on it, little guards on the thing so you don't roll off. The problem with a walker, if you've noticed people with a walker, people tend to move to sway left or sway right. When you're on a walker, you watch people walk, they'll sway one way or the other. Be careful you don't sway right off the ramp, okay? Mechanical lifts, okay. My church has one of these, where you can fit a wheelchair in there and it'll go up. And in case of outage, there's a hand crank that you can use to bring it up, okay? You got that kind, you got this kind. They're basically an elevator, okay? Look at this house. What if you had a house like this? Try to put a ramp in that house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 steps at, let's say, 8 inches a step. That's 80 inches. That ramp goes across the street into the neighbor's house. Okay? So there's got to be a way to figure out how to turn that ramp. Every time you turn a ramp, you need a platform. Okay? That's why at some places you'll see like a big Z. Okay? All right? Sometimes you're going to need a professional. Sometimes you can't fix the house. All right? This particular case, they had a backyard that you couldn't get into either. You know? So it may be too steep, has no back approach, insufficient yard, or to have a reasonable, or it's too sloped that you can't get in there. All right, let's talk about thresholds. This is what I mean by no step. Look at this threshold here. Okay, that's almost 3 inches. That's 2 3/4 inches. This threshold. Very, very difficult to get a wheelchair through that. Okay. This is more of a flat threshold. You'll see this in many houses, especially between different kinds of flooring. Okay, if you have tile and in hardwood floors, you're going to have a separation piece. Usually that's pretty much flush with the floor. But how easy is that to get the chair over? One person handling the wheelchair could get over that. So your threshold is very important. That's what we mean by a no step. That's considered a step. Now, different kinds of ramps. Okay. This ramp here is an aluminum ramp that's bolted to the threshold. This is bolted to the house, okay? Because it's so small, you probably don't need handrails, okay? So that one has to be bolted. This is a solid piece of rubber. You know, it's built on an angle, and you plop it down, and you can go right up. It's pretty durable. This is a temporary ramp. Look at that. Is that a problem?
That's scary.
Number one, it's pretty narrow. There's no doors or anything next to it, no handles. You can ride off of that very easily. If you had a walker and someone's going towards the right or left, you're going to find themselves off the ramp.
It also looks pretty steep.
It is pretty steep. I mean, it's considered a temporary ramp, but you know, it still should meet the specifications of the Disability Act. Okay, let's talk about doorways. Okay, your front door usually is 36 inches wide. Now, that means the opening is 35 inches wide.
The door.
Because the hinges, okay? Because the hinges on the door. The hinges on the door eat up an inch of space. So if you needed 36 inches, you're gonna have to take off the door, okay? If you build a house now, you can ask for extra wide doors, okay? If you're gonna spend the money, spend it now so you can have access to the house later on. Bathroom doors. Bathroom doors are 27 inches wide with a 26-inch opening. Is that a problem for a walker? You'll see. Bedroom doors, 30 inches wide, 29-inch opening. All right. A standard wheelchair needs 32 inches to get through a door. The only door that this wheelchair could get through right now would be the front door. It can't get into the bathroom and it can't get into the bedroom, given the existing standard doors. A standard walker without wheels needs 30 inches to get through. So your bathroom is 27 inches, right? So in order to get your walker through there, you have to turn the walker sideways. That's what my wife had to do in the house. We had to turn the walker sideways, and she had to go this way into there. And then she had to turn it. And if you got a toilet right there, it's pretty difficult to maneuver. Okay, so you think about that when you design your house. Okay, they have what we call a swing clear hinge. This gives you back that extra inch on the hinges. What this does is instead of the hinge closing like this, it kind of goes this way so the door goes flush against the wall. Okay? This gives you that extra inch so you don't have to take the door off. Okay? This is very good too if you're going to move furniture, because it gives you that inch to get into the door. Okay, this is a regular hinge. You see what you lost? Okay, and this is the door opened up all the way touching the wall. So it swings open, it gives you that, let me show you, it gives you this much extra space, right here. Now, we moved into a 55-plus community. We moved in to Celebrate up there on Route 17. Okay, our doors are wider, okay, and everything in the house is opened up. I can get a wheelchair into every part of that house right now, okay? And that's what we were looking for. Plus, we don't have knobs anymore, we have levers. We made the whole thing handicap accessible. Okay? Open feel of your home. Okay, let's talk your stairwells. Stairwells are dangerous. As you get older, a lot of your falls occur on the stairwell. Okay? Do you have handrails on both sides of the stairwell? Okay? Handrails or what am I looking at? Pedestal, not a pedestal.
Basically a handrail.
Yeah, as long as you have a grip on both sides of the stairwell. Stairwell well lit. Look, folks, as you get older, your eyesight goes. You don't want to stumble in the night and hit the stairs by accident. So is it well lit? And I'm going to talk about some lighting opportunities, real inexpensive ways to light up the stairwell. Let's talk this non-slip surface. You know those maple stairs that look really nice, polished? Try going down there with your slippers on. What happens? You can slip, right? Look, you need some kind of carpeting on the stairs, okay? Or you need some kind of abrasive material there so you don't slip, okay? That's the biggest danger we have right now, non-slip. Your carpets in your house, you need to make sure they're secure. Otherwise, you're going to trip on that, especially with a walker. It's going to pull it up. Here's a couple of examples of strips that you can use. This is an adhesive, and it has a rubber backing. This goes up against the carpet, this goes on the floor, and it prevents sliding. This is pretty inexpensive. There's another thing called, this is called a ruggie. You put this on the corner of the rug, and it adheres to the floor. Now these are pretty safe, they don't damage the floor. They have another product that's a two-sided tape. It's called carpet tape. If you use that, it's going to stick very well. But when it comes time to lift up that carpet, you better get yourself some gooby going and a putty knife.
Yeah. Yep.
because that's what it's gonna take to take that stuff off. So I recommend if you can, pick this up at Lowe's. This has got a rubber backing on it. Okay, it's pretty good for small carpets, okay? And I'll leave these out there, you can take a look later on those. Now, are your stairs free of clutter? Your stairs should not be a storage space, okay? The stairs are narrow enough, you don't want to put carts and boxes and stuff on the stairs, okay? When I was a little kid, my dad would come home from work and put his shoes on the stairs, on the cellar stairs. One day I hit the shoes and I ended up at the bottom of the stairs, okay? So, and I was a young kid. I supposedly I knew what I was doing. Okay, this is stairwells, this is what I'm talking, a banister, that was the word I was looking for. Okay. Yeah, I do brain health too. Okay, you're looking for a handrail on both sides. Why? Because if you have to go up the stairs with a cane, okay, you're gonna fit, one side is okay going up. Going down, you have to use the other hand, right? So if you have nothing to brace it on, it could be a problem. Notice the carpeting. If you have carpeting on your stairs, buy yourself those little, they look like curtain rods that hold the carpet in, okay? Unless it's stapled in really well. All right, stair lifts. Before we sold the house, we were looking at renovating. And I had the stair lift folks come out and check out the house. Now, my stairs were straight up, you know, to the second floor and straight down to the cellar. They were gonna charge me $4,000 per stair, okay? That was 13 steps going this way, 13 steps going down. That was pre-COVID, okay? So I have no idea what it is now, but I bet you it's not $4,000 each.
Did you say per step or for the whole?
No, it was
From top to
$4,000
bottom.
for the whole mechanism, for the whole mechanism. One stair, but I had 2 stairs, okay? You know, if you really want to stay in your house, that may be worth the investment, okay? Think about that. You know, it works, and it works with power outage too. There's a crank there that you can crank the person up the stairs. Let's talk bathrooms. This is a one-piece shower, okay? If you had a bathtub that you couldn't get in, this is a quick fix. Notice there's a very small lip here so you can get a walker in there or something like that, okay? A lot of folks do a bathroom remodeling. This should be able to fit right into a standard bathroom. If you have a 5-foot tub, you can take the tub out and this could slip right in. It's a one-piece tub. Easy to clean, easy to maintain. All right, this is a tub modification, where you take a normal tub, you call a company in, and they cut a section out so that you can step in, okay, as opposed to stepping over. If you have arthritis or something, it's very difficult to move that leg over the top of the tub to get in. So this, you cut it, and then they put a piece in there, and it serves to easy access into the tub. Okay, curbless showers. Curbless showers provide access to, I wouldn't say a wheelchair, because you're probably not bringing the wheelchair into the shower. What you're bringing in is a shower chair, okay, and I'll talk about that. But this is, if you want something like that, you're going to need a bigger shower. You're going to need something where you can maneuver around, okay? Notice up here, you have an adjustable shower where you can pick it up and wash yourself, especially if someone's sitting down. It gives them their own privacy there instead of using the shower overhead, okay? Notice the grab bar, okay? Notice the grab bar. If you have a shower as you get older, if you're going to renovate the bathroom, put a grab bar in. Okay? And we'll talk about grab bars in a minute. Okay. Here's an old bathroom. with a tub, okay? They tore that out and they put this in, okay? And it's easy access in there, okay? And again, you got this adjustable shower over here. And you can't see it because there's a grab bar right there. Which one of these is a grab bar? Now, you know what a grab bar is. Grab bar is not a towel rack, okay? If you try to use the towel rack as a grab bar, you're going to end up with a handle in your hand, okay? It's not designed to support the weight of the human body. It's designed to support a towel, okay? So, which one of these is a grab bar?
Middle one.
The middle one. This one? Okay? Anyone else? They're all grab bars. They're all grab bars. They're just aesthetically pleasing. Now, the secret with a grab bar, it's got to be anchored to the wall. It can't be just floating there. It's got to be anchored into a stud, if possible. If not, then you have to put an enlarger in there to hold it, like a butterfly clip or something, not a butterfly clip, a butterfly,
Yeah, like expanding.
right, expanding thing there, okay? But this has got to be secured. All right, my mother had arthritis and was having difficulty getting into the tub. And she really didn't want my dad to wash her down. So what we did is we purchased a handle, okay? And this is pretty easy. It screws, it clamps right onto the edge of the tub. And my mother, we had a grab bar on this side, so my mother was able to get into the shower, take her shower and have some privacy, okay? It does a lot for her dignity too, okay? This is a transfer chair, okay? It's called a transfer shower chair. You can modify it either way you want it. So you can take this part and move it to this side, okay? This fits in the tub, and there's a piece that extends out. You bring your walker or your wheelchair, you slide in, you slide your butt on that, and you slide into the tub. Now, the problem is, how do you prevent water from the shower? Know how to do that, because my niece is a occupational therapist, okay? This is what you do. You go to the dollar store, you buy yourself a cheap curtain shower, right? Plastic curtain shower. And you cut it here and here, right? Straight line. You fold it in under you, all right? Put some towels under there and you're gonna have minimum water. That's how you have a shower, okay? The toilet. Toilets are 14 to 16 inches. That's a standard toilet. Okay? As you get older, it's hard to get off the toilet. Okay? So, what you do, you raise the toilet. You get yourself what they call a comfort toilet. Comfort toilet is about 17, 18, they average about 18 inches, 17 to 19 inches. A regular toilet is between about 15 inches. So you get yourself a toilet. We've had in our house now, all we have are comfort toilets, okay? And the price for a toilet is about $200 to $300, depending what you get, but a regular toilet is going to run you about $150. Now, you like your toilet, but you want to make it higher? Get yourself a toiletator, okay? It's an extension. It adds 3.5 inches to your toilet. Now, if you do this, you're going to have to get a plumber. This is going to cost you about $100. Okay? Plumber's probably going to cost you $500. Okay. These are inexpensive alternatives to the toilet. Okay? This is your commode chair. Okay? What's good about this, it comes with a bucket. So if the person is bed-bound or room-bound, they can still do their functions, okay? And then you can clean it out. But this fits over the commode, and it raises 3.5 inches, so it gives you that comfort. Okay, so it's easier to lift and leads you to get out of the toilet. Okay, this is a shower chair for someone in a wheelchair. Okay, so you would transfer them to this, move this into the shower where you can get this wet and it'll dry off. It's all PCP pipe and plastic. That's expensive though, that's about $400. Okay, let's talk about some resources available. I'm not going to go into this because Seth is going to talk in just a minute about the Disability Resource Center, but what it does is provide services for you promoting independence, empowerment, and productivity of people with disabilities. Okay? And Seth will go into that in detail. Equipment Connections is a way where you can get medical supplies. Instead of buying a walker, or instead of buying crutches, or instead of buying some of the equipment, you can get the equipment here, if they have it. All it takes is a donation. Most of it is free. Okay? Let me tell you, if you start buying walkers and commodes and bath seats, that can run into some money. Okay? Your bath seat is going to be $70. Okay? The commode is going to be $40. You start adding that up, if you can get it, pick it up from the Equipment Connections.
The Lions have
Yeah,
free.
there's a lot of agencies here that would give you, that can help with medical supplies. This is for a toilet, helping you get out. Again, we talked about the commode chair. You got grab bars that'll help you get out of the toilet off to the side. This is a grab bar. It's a decorative toilet holder and a grab bar right near the toilet that you can, hold on to. And then you got, these are fold-up extensions that you can use, that you can take down and use to get out of the toilet. Let's talk about sinks. Very, very difficult in a transfer chair or wheelchair to get to the sink, especially if you have a cabinet there or doors there, right? In this particular case, what they did is they took the doors off. Okay, they took the doors off, exposed the pipes. When you expose the pipes, I recommend you wrap them because they can get hot with hot water. Okay, but this is a simple way to do it. Just take the doors off the vanity. This is a wall-mounted sink as opposed to a pedestal or a regular sink with a cabinet. This way you can get in there with the wheelchair. Some ideas, especially in a powder room. Look at the kitchen. Lady's laid up. Look how she has to prepare her food. Her knees are crunched up right up against the cabinets. All she has to do is take a drawer out and convert that drawer to a table, and she can pull that out, and now she can prepare her food right there. Okay? So you don't have to remodel the whole kitchen. All you gotta do is take out one drawer. Look at the stove. Okay? Look where the knobs are. Which one's safer? This one here, because you're not reaching over the stove to turn the things. All right? This is a problem. My mom had a stove like this, and she leaned over, and her bathrobe caught on the burner and caught on fire. Luckily, we were there, to put it out, but she could have really done some serious damage to herself. Stove with the knobs in the front or knobs on the side, or it. Okay, a lot safer. These are the knobs on the side. So you're not bending over the hot stove. Even if the stove is shut off, the burners may still be hot. Okay. What you want is C or D-shaped handles. The knobs are not not conducive as you get older. Why? Because your arthritis sets in. You can't grab the knobs. And it's very difficult with your elbow or your pinky to move the drawer. So you get a D-shaped knob, you can put your finger in there, you can even use your elbow to move it, okay? So think about that. What do the knobs cost you? About $1 a piece, so you change your kitchen knobs and put a D-shaped knob in there or a C-shape. Okay, that's what I mean by C and the D-shaped knob. Goes there. That way you can loop a finger in there and pull the drawer. Okay? Oh, and doors. Get your doors like that. Get a handle like that for your doors. Okay? Because that way you can open the door without having to turn. I don't know about you folks, but arthritis is set in. Very difficult for me to turn right now. Okay? Microwaves. As my mom got older, we had the microwave over the stove, okay? And we were watching her one day, and she was shaking, trying to get food into the microwave. So we decided to take the microwave down, put it on the counter, and she was able to slide the food in and out without having to raise it. It was hard on her, and plus she was dropping a lot of the food, okay? So take the microwave, put it over here. That space in there, you could use it to store books or there's some decorative stuff in there. Cabinet drawers. If you have the cabinet drawers that are stationary, you can go to Lowe's and you can pick up sliding aluminum drawers. And you take out those drawers that you have and put these in. This is what they did here. This is where they put their the cutting boards and the bake pans. You know, that part of the house. They took that out and they made it into a spice rack. So it slides in and out. Everybody know what this is?
Oh, yeah. Pulls your rack out.
Yeah, well, my wife's cousin makes these. And he gave it to my wife and she brought it home and I said, what is that? I thought it might have been an Indian design, like a totem pole or something, you know. This is an oven rack puller. Okay? You can take the rack this way and pull it out, and you can push it in this way. Pretty clever. He charges like $7 for this. I said, this is insane. I can make these, but I didn't know what they were. That's an oven rack puller. Okay. You need to work, you need space for your legs, get yourself a coffee table. Put a coffee table in there. Now you could slide your chair under there and still work comfortably without your knees butting up against the cabinet. The laundry. Okay. When my mom got ill, the washer and dryer were in the basement. Okay? So she could not carry laundry down anymore or carry it up. We were lucky. We had a linen closet adjacent to the bathroom in the hallway. Okay? Was just the right size for a stackable washer dryer. Wasn't any problem getting the water in, wasn't any problem getting the 220 hookup. Guess what the problem was? The vent. The vent. You gotta vent the dryer. So we were trying to figure out how to vent the dryer. We were able to get the hose, attach it, bring it up through the attic, run it up in the attic, and have the vent going out the side there. Okay? But you have to, it was great because now my mother had all this right there. She didn't have to go downstairs. All right. If you're going to work on your house, and you're going to renovate your house, think about your hobbies. Think about the things that mean a lot to you when you redo your house. You know, if you do carpentry, are you going to have access to your woodworking tools? Okay? If you're sewing, are you going to have access to your sewing machine and sewing materials? Okay? If you're a painter, are you going to have access to your paint, okay? So think about that. Think about your quality of life and how do you want to maintain that. Okay, you know, if all your stuff's in the basement, how are you going to get to the basement? You got to figure that out. Maybe you have to move your stuff to a different room, upstairs. Outlets and switches. Your normal outlet, your normal switches are about 48 inches from the floor. Okay, that's about right here, that's about this height. Okay, and your outlets are usually on the floor. Okay. In some cases, you may want to make sure that, especially if someone is in a wheelchair, that those outlets are raised, so you don't have to bend down and you raise it up, and then what you have to do is plug it in that way, okay? The other thing is use rocker switches as opposed to flip switches. This you can use with your elbow also, okay? Just so simple hints to make life a little easier. Let's talk about lighting. As you get older, you're going to need more light. Your eyes are fading, folks. What you thought was bright before may not be as bright anymore. So make sure you have enough light. Porch and entry lighting, very important. So you see what's out there when you answer the doorbell, okay? Floodlights. You can have floodlights with motion sensors over your garage or over some place where there would be access to the house. Lighting doorbell. Okay? Ring has a doorbell that you can install, and it goes into your computer and it goes into your phone, and it tells you when somebody's at the door, and it also takes the picture. Okay? Lighting in the house. This is where you need lights, folks. You need it in the hallways. You need it in the stairwells. All right? All your entrances, all your living areas, your bedrooms and bathrooms. Okay, there's easy ways to put in lights. There's all kinds of different lights. This is a simple night light. Turn it on and off, okay? But it gives you light where you need it. This is a light sensor. When the lights go off and it gets dark, this turns on. They got motion sensors that you can buy. You should have one of these at the top and the foot of the stairs. Very inexpensive, okay? But it lights it up. Especially if you're going to have somebody visit with you, okay? And they're in a room and they're not familiar with the house. And they walk out. They think they're going to the bathroom, and all of a sudden they're down the stairs. This way you got a light, okay? Very, very inexpensive. Keep it in the bathroom, okay? So if you get up at night, you can see the bathroom door, or the bathroom, where the bathroom's at, okay? Very, very simple. Using different kinds of night light. That's a motion light. That's a motion light, I'm sorry. The rest are light sensors. For your own safety, make sure you have a phone with you or some kind of medical, like a medical alert, okay? So you could get help if you need it, okay? Very important. And you wear it all the time, okay? Except when it's charging. My father had one, and he would take it off, forget he had it. And I'd say, Dad, did you use your medical alert? It's being charged. Well, that's helping. That's really helping, Dad, you know? Okay. If you're going to do some remodeling, here's a couple of hints. Ask the individual if he's a certified aging in place specialist, if he's CAPS qualified. What CAPS is CAPS is a course open to all of these folks where they learn to modify specifically for aging personnel. Okay? Okay? Not every contractor knows the needs of someone who is getting on in years. Okay? you need to make sure that you can talk with this person and he understands what you're up against so that he can talk intelligently and make good suggestions to you. Occupational therapists, you know who they are, right? But they can help you get through a new situation. They can help you with the shower. They can help you work pieces of equipment, even equipment that's already in place, but you're going to have to adapt yourself because of some kind of handicap that you have. Okay, remodelers, architects and builders, make sure they're reputable, because they'll all try and take advantage of you if you don't, okay? Ask them if they're CAP certified, okay? Ask them if they went through the trouble to get themselves CAP certified. Some safety procedures. Hot water heaters are set at 120 degrees. If you want it hotter, you're going to have to sign a waiver, okay? Especially if it's a new water heater and you have it installed, they will not install it, they will not adjust it higher than 120, okay? Without a waiver from you. Fire extinguishers, folks, as we get older, fires are a real possibility. Make sure you have at least a fire extinguisher in the kitchen. We have one in the kitchen and in the garage. We're going to get one downstairs in the furnace room. The smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors, all levels of the house should have that. Okay, I talked about the HomeFit guide, it's back there. Help yourself to that. Pretty much it's what I talked about. There's a HomeFit list. You can go on the AARP website and get a lot of information on your home. These are the resources that are available on the website. AARP does a pretty good job when it comes to the elderly. Any questions?
And we're going to hold those until after Seth talks. If
Okay,
that's all right
fine,
with you.
gotcha, okay,
So hold on to your questions.
okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Seth Whitten from the Disability Resource Center. I'm our deputy director over there. And that was great information from Mike. Just really fabulous. And, you know, one of the things he talked about early in his presentation there was universal design. And we talk about that a lot as disability advocates because it's saying, you know, why wait until someone has a disability or until someone is older and needs these things? Why don't we just make our world work for everyone? And it's the kind of thing where you realize so many of these zero entry thresholds on houses or things like door openers, you know, in the community, those are great if I'm in a wheelchair or if I have a walker. They're also great if I'm a mom with a stroller, you know. And these really are those things. And I thought, as Mike was saying, you know, keep your communication device on you at all times. I was living up in Alaska for a number of years and had a log cabin there and a little crawl space underneath, and I was doing something, getting down and thawing frozen water lines or something, and sure enough, I pulled the trap door and just totally fell, you know, head over tea kettle into the crawl space. And you know, I'm 38 at that point, and I don't think about, oh, I better have my cell phone. What if I need to call my brother and say I'm hurt? But I, you know, fell 4 feet straight down onto my head and shoulder, and it really reminded me, like, these things aren't just for folks that are older. They're not just for people with disabilities. It's for everybody. So I really appreciate what Mike had to say about universal design there. So just a little bit about me really quick. As Margaret said, I grew up over in the Shenandoah Valley. My family moved to Harrisonburg in 1986. Really great community over there, and I was walking home from school in 1995. There was a railroad yard under a bridge. I was a 14-year-old boy. And do you think the 14-year-old boy is going to go over the bridge every day when you got a perfectly good railroad yard to run through? So we were doing that. A lot of us did it pretty regularly, and I was climbing through trains. There were often trains there, sometimes standing still, sometimes moving very slowly, and it was doing probably 2 or 3 miles an hour. And so I had climbed up on the ladder, and I'm on the coupler between the cars when the train shakes. If you've ever been sitting at an intersection, you hear the train go ka-chung, ka-chung, ka-chung. what happens is that coupler that holds the cars together pulls apart just enough for a 14-year-old's foot to fit in. And all the little bones in my foot became very little bones like that. And I tell people I'm such a lucky one. Well, first I tell them my poor mother. My friend ran home and he got my mom, and my mom comes down to the railroad tracks and she looks at me, and the paramedics are in the process of cutting my clothes off so they can get me on the body board. And Mom goes, "Seth, what happened?" And I said, "Mom, I wore my oldest shoes." And she said, "Seth, if you don't die, I'm going to kill you." And these poor paramedics too are sitting there going, "These people are nuts." But I am a lucky one. You know, I had just a great family, a great support network. I spent those years from 15 until my mid to late 20s kind of telling myself, I don't have a disability. You know, I learned to drive my car. If you're thinking about cutting off a foot, I joke with people, 14 is a great age to do it. And I mean, obviously that's a joke, but there is life for amputees. I mean, there's so much that we can do, and obviously when you're a young one who grows up like that, I mean, I bounced back pretty quickly and felt really fortunate and spent years and years going, I don't even have a disability. And it took me a long time and meeting other people with disabilities, you know, as I got into my 20s and closer to 30, and I said, oh wow, first of all, I'm not always going to be at the level that I am as a 20-something, right? And also just started to realize that I felt like I had a responsibility for other folks with disabilities to look at the world and say, how do we make things better? How do we build more inclusive communities? And so that was the time that I started serving on board of directors for Center for Independent Living over in Harrisonburg. And these Centers for Independent Living, that's what the Disability Resource Center is. We serve Planning District 16, so Fredericksburg, Stafford, Spotsylvania, King George, and Caroline counties. And then there's not a Center for Independent Living that serves our area. I also live in Orange, closer to Barbersville. But we don't have one in Planning District 9. And so we do a little bit of work. We get a small amount of funding every year from the State Independent Living Council to get out in Madison, Orange, Rappahannock, and Culpeper counties and try and help people and connect them with resources there. I will pause for just a minute there to let you know we just hired a new part-time staffer. Some of you may know Bob Jones, your friend and neighbor. We are just ecstatic to have Bob on board. Many of you probably know he's been working with Aging Together and doing just a fabulous job with that organization and you know, getting connected in the community. So we're really glad Bob's here. Bob's our man on the street over here in PD9 and is kind of point of contact and helping us figure out who should we go talk to. And you know, I was excited when Margaret and Jean said, hey, can you come? And then I said, oh wow, Bob lives out there. That's so terrific. So anyway, but Centers for Independent Living are all over the state, all over the country. The simplest way I can explain it is these are support and advocacy organizations for people with disabilities run by people with disabilities. So 51% of our board and 51% of our staff is required to be people with disabilities. And where these organizations came from was back in the 70s. Things were really different if you were an American with a disability back then in so many ways. I mean, public transportation wasn't accessible. People weren't going to universities, not because they weren't perfectly smart, but because things weren't accessible and because people had certain ideas about what people were capable of. And so it was actually out in Berkeley, California. There was a man named Ed Roberts, who is the godfather of the independent living movement. And Ed had survived polio and ended up as a quadriplegic who used an iron lung much of the time. And you know, as he got older, he used different breathing apparatus. But basically, this guy got into the University of Berkeley and said, okay, I'm coming to school. And they said, yeah, no, you're not. We got nowhere for you to live. And he said, well, I'm coming, figure it out. So they put him in the hospital that was there. And after he went, there were other wheelchair users who said, hey, how are you doing that? And he said, well, here's what I've arranged with the school, come on down. And they got a whole floor of this hospital that was for people with physical disabilities and really started to change the culture at the University of Berkeley, make things more accessible there. And then what happened is they were getting this money to do things for students, well, other community members see, and other people with disabilities all over the country see what's happening in Berkeley, and go out there and they say, hey, can you help us? And they were kind of trying to do it on the side with the money that was supposed to be for students, and they realized, hey, this isn't sustainable. And so they started the first Center for Independent Living in 1972. And again, it was this for us, by us organization for folks with disabilities. And very quickly, other areas of the country saw this, and by the 80s, they were popping up everywhere, which is when it started happening in Virginia. There are about 400, there are 17 in Virginia, there are 403 all around the country. And what these organizations do, we have 5 core services that everybody, no matter if you're in Fairbanks, Alaska, or Fredericksburg, Virginia, we do these 5 things, and those are, number 1, advocacy. So whether that's individual advocacy or systems, when we talk about individual, maybe somebody has a problem with their child's school. They're not getting what they need. Maybe, somebody is trying to make changes to their home and they're being told, oh no, the building code says you have to do this, or the HOA says that you've got to do this. Individual advocacy would be working with those people to say, okay, well, here are the laws we know. Here's what people are required to do, and helping them address their individual issues that they're having. Systems advocacy would be more like looking at transportation systems, looking at public buses and saying, hey, these should have wheelchair lifts on them, and that kind of thing. The second thing we do is peer support. Basically, what the independent living movement, which is really how I want you to think about it, is as a movement and a philosophy that people should be able to live as independently as they can in their homes, in their communities, and those communities should be inclusive. And so with peer support, it's saying, we want to learn from other people who have done it. Think about Ed Roberts at Berkeley, and people saw, oh wow, this guy in a wheelchair who can't even move his hands is going to college. And that inspired other people to do it. And it's that thing of when we see people who are like us doing things, it makes it a lot easier to believe, hey, that's possible. So at the Disability Resource Center, a couple things I want to mention. We've got a young adult group where folks have all sorts of disabilities, and they meet a couple times a month. We've got a group for adults that's a cross-disability group that meets on Wednesdays every week. We have a Hearing Loss Association of America club that meets on the last Monday of every month. And if that's something you would be interested in, they're a really great group. Again, it's this thing where when people start experiencing hearing loss, there's so much to know, there's so much to learn. And sure, you can go to your doctor, you can go to the equipment providers, these are very knowledgeable people, but something about really being able to sit down in a room with other people who have experienced this and who have figured out how to solve some of the challenges is really helpful. So those are the main groups that we run in terms of peer support. And if you ever have questions, I know Fredericksburg seems like it's far away, but I promise you it took me about 20 minutes to get here today. And anyone would be welcome to come and check out one of those groups or come see our center anytime. The third thing we do is information and referral. That's one of the biggest things we spend our time doing, and that's basically, we want to be the one-stop shop if people have questions about disabilities. We want to be that place. So often, if you're new to a disability or you're just trying to figure things out, it's, well, these services are over here, and if you need help with home modifications, that's over there, and way over there in the back of the room is this other thing. We want to be that place that instead of people doing this and coming out going, oh my gosh, where do I go? We want to be that place. Call us, we'll answer your questions. If we don't know the answers, we'll find them, and we'll work with you to get connected with the folks that you need to be connected to. Our other core services, transition services, so that's like if people are in institutions, if somebody's living in a nursing home or they've been in a rehab facility and they're just not getting out and they can safely move back into their community. We help people access the resources to do that and go through that process. The other piece of transition is young people who are in school who have disabilities. There's really an understanding and a push, particularly in recent years, to say, we've got to work with these kiddos, as early as we can, to start teaching them life skills, to start teaching them the soft skills of employment that are going to help them really build successful futures. Because for so long, you know, people just didn't get opportunities. We have a young man that works with us right now who has cerebral palsy and he's in a wheelchair. He doesn't have the dexterity in his hands to type, and you know, he went to Randolph-Macon University, completed his undergraduate degree, and he got out and he wants to be ultimately a high school counselor or a middle school counselor. And you know, he started looking for work and he couldn't find it. Everybody kind of looks at him and goes, oh yeah, you can't do what we need you to do. And so it's been really neat since we brought him on. He's actually going to be going into the schools this semester and teaching teenagers these life skills, and he's going to be that person that they can look at and say, oh wow, he did it, you know, I can do it too. So it's pretty neat, and I've been learning so much with him. I live and die. You'll always see me carrying my book like this because I write everything down and I put the date, and then when somebody says, hey, what happened in that meeting 6 weeks ago, I can flip back and find it. And so I was working with him today saying, you know, I know you're not going to be able to keep a notebook like this, but I expect you to use the technology that you have to keep notes and to be able to remember what somebody said, remember, you know, what happened in a meeting. And it's really great. I mean, I watched him kind of go, huh, okay. And it was clear that just nobody had ever told him before, hey, I have this expectation for you. And so that's part of it too, is setting expectations. I think so often there's been a history of expectations down here for people with disabilities, and what happens when you do that? I mean, people meet your expectations right here, exactly. And so that's one of the things that we work really hard to do, is to, you know, let people know that they are very capable and can do more than maybe they thought, and also to project that out into the world, because so often, you know, the barriers people face aren't necessarily related to characteristics of their disability as much as they are characteristics of the world around them, and the way that world is not accessible and just not inclusive. Let's see, so we said advocacy, peer mentoring, transition services, information and referral, and then the last one, independent living skills training. And so that can be anything. It can be helping young people learn to budget. It can be helping people learn to ride the public transit system. Next Wednesday, our young adults with disabilities group has decided they want to bake cookies. So they're going to come in and we're going to talk about like measuring dry ingredients versus wet ingredients, and please don't set my kitchen on fire. We've got a fabulous accessible kitchen at the office where, you know, the ovens are all at wheelchair level and all sorts of adaptive equipment for cutting boards and things where you can sink the vegetable or whatever you're cutting onto a post and cut like that. So, yes?
Also, could you talk about the funding opportunities that you have?
Yes, absolutely. How much time do I have, Gene? Are we right up against it?
Margaret, how much time do you have?
We're supposed to be done at 3, right?
About 5 minutes.
Oh geez, I'm so sorry guys. Yes, so let's get on to funding opportunities. So in addition to the 5 core services, the Centers for Independent Living are basically responding to the needs of their community. So depending on where you go, I mean, if you go over to Charlottesville, that one was started by a wheelchair basketball team. They've got a ton of wheelchairs in their lobby and they're trying to get people into sports. The one in Harrisonburg is also doing different adaptive recreation stuff a lot of the time. They've got a group. Actually today, I gave up going skydiving today with a group from Vail because I wanted to come hang out with you guys. So thank you for having me. But one of the needs that we've seen, I mean, as Mike was talking about, is whether you're aging in place, whether you're a person with a disability, whether you've got a child with a disability, we don't think about building our homes accessibly. And so the program I really wanted to talk to you guys about today is Virginia Housing is a state housing agency. They have home accessibility grants. These are grants that are available for veterans, homeowners, and renters. The veterans program, there is no income qualification. If someone is a veteran with a service-related disability, then it doesn't matter how much money they make, they can get $8,000 through this grant program to do things like ramps, to do things like stair lifts, to do things like automated lighting systems. You know, if you want Alexa to turn on your lights, it'll help hook that up. To do things like the modifications we saw in the kitchen with the roll-out cabinets and things. For homeowners and renters, there is a 80% of the area median income qualification requirement, and what that ends up being in orange is for a 2-person household, $68,000 a year. For a 1-person household, it's $59,700. And that's the money coming in every year. There's no, as far as like what resources you have in the bank, it's not related to that. It's just the income that you're making every year. So I realize that not everyone's going to qualify for that, but if you or someone you know meets that threshold, then we would love to talk to you about, you know, how we might be able to help you get one of these grants to support this work. If you're not in that category, you can still feel free to call us. Mike talked about the CAPS certification, that's Certified Aging in Place Specialist. Our program manager for our home modification program is a retired Marine Corps sergeant, and he's absolutely fabulous. And back in May did his CAPS certification so that he would be more capable when he's going in people's homes to say, hey, I've got some ideas about, you know, what you might do to change things. So anyway, that's the big thing I wanted to talk to you guys about today. And again, if you hear me say, oh, 80% area median income, that doesn't apply to me, please still feel free to pick up the phone and call us, because we may be able to work with you to identify some other resources that are out there. We can hook you up with contractors who are doing this work in the area who we do find reliable and trustworthy. We can talk to you about different solutions. I mean, Mike showed us some of the platform lifts if your ramp won't go. I mean, we are happy to be that place that can walk you through some of these things. So I'm from the Disability Resource Center, and we're here to help.
Mike, do you want to come up and take some questions?
Okay. Boy, that dovetails really well.
Yeah, no, I was just sitting there watching you going, oh my gosh, this is just perfect for us.
We didn't rehearse this, by the way. Any questions for us? Like I said, you have some handouts over there. Feel free to help.
Now, did you leave?
We do presentations.
Just
We
speak
do
into it.
presentations free of charge. We do a lot of health and safety presentations, so feel free to use us. That's what we do.
Can I say one more thing?
Go ahead.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention our equipment connection. Mike mentioned it. If you or anyone you know ever needs walkers, wheelchairs, canes, crutches, hospital beds, the moon boots for a broken foot, rollators, we've got those. Please feel free to give us a call. We don't deliver, so you'd have to come into Fredericksburg, but again, I promise you it's only 20-25 minutes away.
You speed.
I do not speed, Bob. I am a law-abiding citizen. Yes, ma'am.
Leave your card over there.
Yes, and I do. I've got cards for myself, for Mr. Jones here, and for Chris McBride, who's our program manager in that home mod program. Yeah. And there's also some giveaways back there. I've got pill boxes, tape measures, levels, pens, nail files. Grab anything you're interested in.
Paint sample. Thank you guys so much.
Is this working? Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, thank you both so much. This was so fabulous. I mean, we talk a lot about, ways that we can better stay in our homes for as long as possible, and the resources that you both brought today are really important, so thank you. I can't thank you enough. I just wanted to follow on. So we've been working hard to update our service provider list, and one of the things we're trying to do is identify some contractors who are either CAP certified or have a great deal of experience. So it sounds like possibly they could reach out to you to have somebody come by and look around the house and get ideas, and then connect with a contractor who could implement them. So that's awesome. And then I love this AARP interview notes sheet. So I've got them up here, but I'll put them back on the table so you can grab one before you leave. So thank you for that. It's really nice to be able to think through before you make any major decisions. Also, of course, just want to remind you about LOWLINC's volunteer handyman services. Now, we're not going to remodel your bathroom. But some of the other safety things that you can start out with is if you have a wobbly handrail and you just need to have it tightened. Or again, replacing those light bulbs that are up high and that type of thing. So let's see, I feel like there's one other note I wanted to mention, but maybe I covered it. Okay, well, thank you all for coming here today. And yes,
I have a resource.
Oh, you have a resource, okay.
My smoke alarm cricket was chirping, and I am 5'2". And I'm not allowed to climb on ladders.
Good
So
plan.
I called 911. I called somebody else first, and they said, no, call 911. And a really tall firefighter came over with a battery, the 9-volt battery.
Okay.
It's my,
Good, well, good, I'm glad you got that chirp done. And,
Yeah.
and so I will say that also LOWLINC will provide, for the next time it starts chirping, our volunteers will replace it and we pay for the battery, so Jane has them. So, but
even better.
next time around. Did you have something you were gonna mention, or, no, okay.
Well, yeah, actually I did. The Red Cross is also another one to call about smoke alarms, and they've got hearing impaired smoke alarms as well. If you know somebody with hearing loss, they've got bed shakers and other vibrating ones as well.
Yeah, you have the flashing lights and the vibrators and all, yeah, so, and universal design, I'm so glad that you mentioned it, that's something that I'd just love to see our communities have that, because not only for our own homes, we've all had temporary injuries too, that it's like, okay, wouldn't it be nice if I had a ramp in my house right now? But also when we go visit people, it's great that some of the, public buildings have moved in a good direction, but wouldn't it be wonderful we could get our homes that way too? But anyway, Margaret, did you have any other things that you wanted to share? Okay, well, and any last questions for our presenters before we wrap up? All right, well, thank you again, and I'm sure we'll be reaching out to you, both as an organization and individuals, so we appreciate it very much.
Thank you.